In LA this week,
this is the grounds that we began our academy in 1935. And since that time, it has served us well.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, how our furry friends are working with our first responders for rescue efforts.
Metalworking as a fine art, found objects on the street, just some of the things you'll see at the LA Blacksmith exhibit at the California African American Museum. I'm Anna Marcos, and that's coming up.
Hey everyone, I'm Rasha Goel. Here's what's happening in LA this week. The LA waterfront is getting a facelift, and Councilmember Joe Buscaino was among the first to grab a shovel. The long-awaited groundbreaking for the San Pedro Promenade and Town Square gets underway. Check it out.
We are breaking ground on what will become the front door of our new LA waterfront. We are bringing investment to our LA waterfront, a true public-private partnership. We got the port investing in the infrastructure on the promenade that's going to bring the people closer to the waterline and experience the international trade right before their eyes.
This location will be the gathering spot for current and new attractions. It will connect our historic downtown and newly established Little Italy, and will be a catalyst to create much-needed jobs.
Millions of dollars in investment into retail, dining, entertainment, 6,000-seat outdoor amphitheater. We have been waiting for this for decades, and it is here, this moment, right now.
And like all of you, I look forward to walking across this great promenade in the summer of 2021. Thank you all for joining today.
The Urban Development Project is in coordination with the planned San Pedro Public Market, and it's scheduled to open in 2021. The Los Angeles Police Academy graduated 38 new cadets this month. Mayor Eric Garcetti and LAPD Chief Michael Moore were present to welcome the new officers into service.
Class 819, we've graduated the academy. In other words, we have made it to the starting line. Our journey has merely begun. Tomorrow, we hit the streets, protecting and serving the communities of Los Angeles. We have had our struggles throughout this journey, but today we stand strong. Each and every one of us ready to take on the challenges. I couldn't ask for a stronger team to be a part of. We will forever be brothers and sisters in blue.
On behalf of this City of Angels, which I'm so honored to lead, 4 million souls that call Los Angeles home, part of a 19 million person region, a place where we can find somebody who speaks our language, who worships God like us, who comes from where our parents came from, but also right next to us, somebody who's totally different from us each and every day. And somehow it works. We live here together to create an amazing city. You now are entrusted with the safekeeping of this town.
You successfully concluded a rigorous training program, and you have shown that you have what it takes physically, academically, emotionally, and most importantly, morally, to be a police officer in the city of Los Angeles.
So day to day, as you get out of that black and white and bring calm to crisis, lead with your heart, lead with your character. And you will enjoy a long, 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 very rewarding career.
You will see people in the coming days in some of their best moments, triumphant, but many, many more times their worst. And you'll be the person called to bring calm to chaos. And in each instance, my expectation, our expectation, that you treat a person fairly, no matter where they were born, their skin color, or their temperament. Be proud of what you've accomplished here today. Bring honor to your family, to this department, and to the sacrifice of the 211 men and women who have lost their life in the service of this great city. May God bless you and keep you safe. Congratulations.
Now, I've actually had the opportunity to attend some of these ceremonies, and I can just tell you it is so heartfelt and touching. And in addition to the LAPD, 4 Los Angeles Port police officers also graduated as part of that ceremony. You know, once a month, the residents of Council District 9 gather to break fast and show pride in their community. Councilmember Carton Price was there to lead by example at this neighborhood event.
This is one of our monthly cleanups here in CD9. We take great pride in our Clean and Green campaign, and on a monthly basis we're out in the community, in the neighborhood, passing out information, encouraging neighbors to turn in their bulky items, and we've got volunteers getting the streets clean.
I think this is great. We have this, families in the community, students in the community. It brings back ownership.
When I do something like this, it's just a reminder of how there is a need for the community, for others to come alongside so that we can clean up the area and allow it to be presentable.
Neighbors are excited to know that they can bring their bulky items out and get them picked up. Some are surprised to learn of that and other services that we offer. And individuals are very pleased to have some contact from the council office. And I enjoy knocking on doors and talking to citizens myself.
I was, born and raised in LA, so I'm just really happy to be here and, give back to the community.
Meanwhile, over on the east side, Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell and the city engineer Gary Lee Moore cut the ribbon on the Red Car pedestrian bridge. The walkway safely connects the Atwater Village and Silver Lake communities and takes another small step to revitalizing the LA River.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Today we dedicated the Red Car River Bridge. The bridge was dismantled a couple of generations ago. We laid a new multimodal bridge across the exact same uprights that used to hold up the old red car that traversed the Los Angeles River from Silver Lake into Atwater Village.
It's just so rewarding to see these hundreds of people out here today celebrating this new multimodal crossing over the Los Angeles River. And what's more important is the safe passageway between Silver Lake and Atwater.
And I got news for you. It's ahead of schedule and under budget.
All in all, we have 5 bridge projects, either underway now or soon to be underway. So in the coming years, we'll have connectivity at the Los Angeles River, which is all of our goal, as never before.
It's another big step in the Los Angeles River revitalization.
And we head back down to San Pedro to take in a celebration of Chinese American culture. Lunar New Year at the Port of Los Angeles is an annual event that drew families from far and wide.
Today, the Port of Los Angeles is celebrating its 6th annual Lunar New Year Festival. Today is very unique because it's the Year of the Rat, and we're actually hosting an event on the actual day of the Lunar New Year. Each year it changes according to the zodiac. Next year it will be the ox. Last year it was the pig. So each year has a different theme to it, so it makes it unique.
It's a free event put on by the Port of Los Angeles. This is a wonderful cultural event. The people here really enjoy it. You can see smiles on the faces of the kids and the families around. And we have a petting zoo for the kids. We have entertainment throughout the day.
We want to show our culture to many other generations. after us.
I am so fascinated by astrology and zodiac signs. And you might not know this, but unlike Western zodiac signs, which cycle monthly, the Chinese zodiac signs cycle every 12 years. And the traits of those born in the year of the rat? Wit, spirit, and vitality. I'm the year of the rabbit. Pacoima gets a new bridge project, and city council members act on behalf of the Dodgers. All this and more on City Beat.
Council members Paul Koretz and Gil Cedillo are at the forefront of asking Major League Baseball to strip both the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox of their World Series championship titles due to sign stealing. The LA Dodgers lost in the World Series in 2017 and 2018 due to that illegal practice. Funding has been secured to begin the design of the Telfair Bridge in Pacoima. The bridge will cross the Pacoima Wash at Telfair Avenue, connect two neighborhoods, and provide access to the future El Dorado Park. A Lunar New Year celebration took place at LA City Hall. Dancing and food were among the festivities that honored the Year of the Rat.
This is such a wonderful opportunity to come together and celebrate as a city and recognize some of the many cultures and traditions that are represented in our global city.
A few weeks ago, we introduced you to an awesome vocational program called Skills USA. This week, we take a look at how that national program is making a big difference locally. We visited students at Eagle Rock High School to see how Skills USA is helping prepare them for a bright future.
Skills USA is a really important organization for our students because it allows them a bunch of different opportunities, not only to demonstrate their industry-specific skills, but also to demonstrate and learn leadership skills. And so for video production, that's the one we compete in. Other ones that our school competes in is Future Farmers of America for our horticulture teachers, and HOSA, which is our patient care pathway.
The number of kids that participate here is in the hundreds. I think we're the second or third largest school as far as enrollment within the entire LA Unified School District. The self-confidence that the kids get through going through the competitive process as well as doing the service projects, it takes it and makes it into a much richer program versus just do the assignment, turn it in, get a grade. They're out, they're meeting with business people, they're meeting with industry folks. They're having guest speakers coming in, they get a chance to go on some tours, sometimes they might go to a trade show, and they get involved in a much richer environment than is traditionally available in a single class period that you'd have in a normal course.
Cool. Being part of a team can feel a lot like being a family. That was certainly the feeling when the 1970 CSUN college baseball champions came together for their 50th anniversary dinner.
Well, this is the 50-year anniversary of the 1970 San Fernando Valley State College National Championship baseball team.
You could just tell by the amount of former players 50 years later that are here.
25 guys, 21 are still around to tell the story.
The relationships we've had for 50 years. Winning a championship instigates that. But you don't have this kind of relationship with these people unless there's a certain kind of chemistry.
My husband was a pitcher. He passed away in 2016. And 14 to 16 of his teammates came home and in their jerseys and their baseball, Valley State baseball caps and white gloves, and carried him to his final resting place. So this is a really special group of people for me and my family.
If you ask anybody to define what a team means, this is the ultimate team experience.
There were very few real stars on the team, but we had
unbelievable esprit de corps.
And that's kind of like brotherhood. They've stayed better friends off the field than they were on the field.
It's something very special to us. It's not special to anybody else, but it's very special to us.
These are kids that grew up in communities that weren't rich, single-family homes after World War II, and they got a scholarship, which consisted of your books being paid for and your tuition being paid for, and that was it. And they were elated to have that opportunity.
The majority of these guys were first-generation college students, so this was their first experience in college. Their parents did not go.
We all stood for one thing, and it's still there for us. Once you become a champion, you're always a champion.
If you are close to obtaining what we've obtained, strive for it as hard as you can, because you will never forget that feeling. You'll never forget that feeling of being a champion or being successful.
You may spend 3 or 4 years together as a teammate, but you're a family member for a lifetime.
That is just so beautiful. I love the fact that they were able to take this brotherhood beyond the field. And a new art installation explores the history and relationship of metalworks with Black culture from Africa to Los Angeles. Anna Marcos visited the California African American Museum to see this powerful exhibit.
You can make it scary, imposing, artsy. Shiny, dull, hard, flexible. You can use old junkyard scraps to create new features or mold entire sculptures all your own. Metal is a medium Black artists have created with throughout history, and now it takes center stage at the LA Blacksmith exhibit showing at the California African American Museum.
I'm really trying to explore the multiple ways that artists use metal to tell stories about Black life in LA.
Blacksmithing, with its roots in Africa and Egypt, played a huge role not just in the history of world civilization, but in that of the U.S. slave trade. Slaves brought over from Africa often brought their metalworking skills with them.
Slaves built much of the U.S., North and South, and a lot of that expertise came with Black people on ships, specifically like gates. If you think about the kind of motifs that are in iron fencing and things like that, a lot of that came from Africa.
So far, very powerful pieces.
Very powerful. It's nice seeing the metal pieces and learning the history behind a lot of the art.
Another motif that weaves itself into the exhibit is the idea of found objects. Some of the art comes from scrap yards or junk shops. Other artists feature burnt-out scraps found on the street after the Watts Rebellion.
For artists to be able to take material from painful times and repurpose those materials into beautiful, uplifting works of art that carry with it the marks of where they came from, I think is magic.
I like this one especially because, like I said, reminds me when I was little, pieces of metal, screws and tools, pieces of broken stuff.
There are many powerful things about this work, but what I really like is that he has an afro pick in his hair with the Black Power symbol on it. And then here in the front, in Hebrew, it translates to Rodney King's famous line, "Can't we just all get along?"
Work and the value of Black labor is another theme important to the artists. There are sewing machines.
The history of Black women working as seamstresses, and by gilding a sewing machine makes a commentary about what the value of that labor really was.
And there is this, a large stack of the metal tools and objects historically used in Black labor, from kitchen pots to sickles and hoes.
This piece represents the West African god of metal, Ogun, and he is revered across Western Africa. A lot of the artists in this show that use metal are thinking about resiliency of cultural memory and cultural identity.
The exhibit is free, and it runs through February 16.
The magic of art is how it can give everyone a voice, no matter how they want to express themselves. In the case of the LA Unshuttered exhibit at the Getty, one of my favorite places to visit, by the way, student artists chose to express themselves through multimedia, and the results are pretty impressive. Take a look.
This program is called Getty Unshuttered, and the Unshuttered program is a multi-year arts education program. It showcases the talents of young artists. It really is meant to unleash the artist that is in all of us. The idea of Unshuttered is to be unafraid, to be uninhibited, to really be able to express yourself using the medium of photography. The idea of Unshuttered is really that you want us to see something, like you want to use your camera to expose us to an idea, to a social good, to a social cause. The young people that were a part of the Unshuttered program were shining a light on mental illness, to spirituality, people that were suffering with different physical disparities.
My pictures for my project, I worked with young women who practice different religions, and the inspiration came from my mother. I only know so much about my own upbringing when it comes to spirituality, and I wanted to explore how other women kind of perceive religion and their spirituality. It's been an amazing experience. I've been learning a lot from just not only programs that I've joined, but also taking a chance to get out there and shoot whenever I can.
When I take photos, I always think about obviously how good the photo looks and the aesthetic of it, but for me, I try to reach a deep personal level and think about the story that's going to be conveyed. When I take photos, I want to make sure that it's very powerful and it has a message. On my project, it focused on alopecia and vitiligo, and people would usually see those conditions as something to be shy of or something to be insecure about, but I think it's beautiful, and that's something that makes a person unique in their own way.
There's an Unshuttered app that can be downloaded on Android, it can be downloaded on the Apple Store, and then when we actually have the exhibition where we launch every year in the summertime, you'll see the projections around the Getty of people of all ages that have contributed to that app.
Whenever you want to do something, just go for it. The outcome will be amazing.
The LA Unshuttered installation showcases the work of more than 20 Los Angeles area high school students and debuts a new set of works every summer. I just wish I was as creative as them. And last week, we had the pleasure of meeting Vea, one of 2 dogs used by the Los Angeles Fire Department. This week, I got to know 2 more incredible canines that I can't wait to introduce you to. Oh, they are adorable and so lovable and very smart. Jackie and Blue. Meet Jackie, a 3-year-old Labrador who works with LAFD firefighter Jason Chapman. She's part of the urban search and rescue team and helps find missing victims who are alive during rescue efforts.
Our dogs are trained to detect human scent that's, for instance, covered by a collapsed building, and they will alert with a bark. At that point, we'll send a second canine to see if they bark. If they bark, then we'll start effecting the rescue with our people.
Chapman has been working with the canine unit for 14 years and has had Jackie for a year. He says 90% of the time she works off leash and for a toy reward.
We first have to find a training site. So we usually go to like concrete recycling centers. So that's when somebody tears out a street or an old building. They take all that concrete and dump it at these recycling centers. And it's basically in a big pile like a collapsed building. And we literally will hide each other in the concrete pile and then send the dogs out to find us. Initially, when you have a new dog, you're going to be training for about a year before you even take your first test. And then every 3 years, we will test with FEMA to make sure the dog is still up to par to search.
These canine units are not just based in Los Angeles, but they are deployed around the country with a minimum of 4 dogs per team. There are a total of 8 FEMA teams in the state of California.
FEMA started the whole program back in the 80s because of all the big disasters and the inability for a small local agency to handle the disaster. So we created the FEMA rescue teams where we can deploy ahead of time for a hurricane because we know it's going to happen, or if we have a major earthquake in Southern California.
Blue, a 5.5-year-old Labrador from the National Response Team, is a Department of Justice trained accelerant detection canine. He works with Gus Gaeta, an LAFD fire investigator and task force officer with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, or ATF.
He helps us out on many investigations, murders, homicides, fires that are intentionally set by, arsonists. He's 5.5 years old, and he is a food reward dog, meaning that he only eats when he's training, and he only eats when he's finding accelerants. So we do that on a daily basis, all year round. So what we have here is the accelerants that Blue was able to find, anywhere from medium petroleum distillates, gasoline, diesel, kerosene, light petroleum distillates, medium petroleum distillates, which is like your charcoal lighter fluids. He can find like 1/10 of a drop in a football field.
The dogs also receive additional training with ATF. Currently, Blue has mandatory training for 2.5 hours every day with Gaeta, who preps materials with accelerants for Blue to identify.
The training entails him finding accelerants, burning materials commonly found in your household, like drywall, carpet, flooring, clothes, items that are usually found in the residence when it's burned. We try to identify those items by bringing in the dog, and if they have accelerants, then he will tell us which ones has the accelerants. Everything that he alerts to also has to be verified by the labs. So even though he alerts to it, the lab has to authenticate his findings. What this dog can do, no machine can do.
Blue is one of the many dogs who came through the Puppies Behind Bars program, which trains prison inmates to raise service dogs for war veterans, first responders, and law enforcement. The LA Art Show turns 25. Homeschool students get their day at an LA museum, and the Echoplex goes emo. All this in Things to Do.
Experience the latest in modern and contemporary painting, sculpture, works on paper, photography, and more at the 25th Annual LA Art Show. Catch immersive video installations, performance art displays, and panel discussions. Then check out the new European Pavilion or specialty galleries devoted to ink painting from Asia and beyond. Get a true insider's art experience at the 2020 LA Art Show, happening February 6th through the 9th at the Los Angeles Convention Center. For more information, visit laartshow.com. It's Homeschool Day at the Natural History Museum. Learn what paleontologists uncovered during recent exciting excavations. Run into dinosaurs at the Dinosaur Encounters Show. Talk with museum educators about extensive fossil collections all around the museum. The Homeschool Day at the Natural History Museum happens Thursday, February 6th from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. For details, visit nhm.org. It may be 2020, but the golden age of emo is alive and well with Emo Night at Echoplex. Make your way over February 7th for the first emo nighttime of the new decade. They'll be spinning ones and twos downstairs, while upstairs, the Echo will have full band sets from Pretty Pathetic, Veins, and more. Get your emotional music fix at the Echoplex, Friday, February 7th, beginning at 9 p.m. For details, visit emonight.com. And that's a look at some things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Rasha Goel, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you for joining us. Now remember, you can always catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.